Instead of fixing the real problems, it turns out that the ANC just concluded that they are not taxing us enough.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has conceded that the country has limited revenue and that it's unable to fund every priority and ambition. Some ministers came out of the National Assembly saying one of the reasons why the cabinet differed on the budget speech was the increment of VAT. He says Minister of Finance Enoch Godongwana has a headache in finding the money.
Guys, being a president may not be easy, né? But one thing is clear, even as you sit and watch this video. The world has dumb presidents and wise presidents. The world has strong presidents and weak presidents. And as you watch President Cyril Ramaphosa, you come to realize one thing. He does not take his job seriously enough. Cyril Ramaphosa is a president who's not driven to empower the people. He's not driven to make South Africa better. If you watch President Cyril Ramaphosa's speeches carefully, you'll come to realize one thing. His highest priority is to read the teleprompter in the best way possible. His priority is that he pauses where there are commas, he stops where there are full stops. He has told himself that he must make sure to smile and show people that he has mastered the English language.
And by forging a common purpose, we can turn these trying circumstances to our advantage and propel our country forward. As South Africans, we stand for peace and justice. We stand for equality and solidarity. We stand for a non-racial future. And we stand for democracy and tolerance as well as compassion.
That is the type of president we have. Cyril Ramaphosa is a president who is here to be on TV so that the people that grew up with him in high school can see that he made it. Being president is a status symbol for him. Look at me, I'm a president now. Listen to him here.
No minister of finance ever gets to a point where they will just willy-nilly raise taxes without getting to a point where they may believe that they have no other alternatives. And I have never met a person who wants to pay more taxes in our country and I guess in the world.
So basically, Finance Minister Godongwana increased the taxes because there was no other way. He had no choice, is what lazy Cyril wants us to believe. What is that supposed to mean to us? What consolation is there for us citizens in those words? I have never seen a person who wants to pay more taxes. And with those words, you are done. That's it. In your head, you have done a great job by simply saying those words. Listen to lazy Cyril making it seem like this is some tough puzzle. He wants us to believe that this is some tough situation that we just can't get out of without people being taxed more.
So nobody wants to pay more taxes. But this moment also presents us with an issue frontally that we need to confront. The trade-offs that we have to embrace. Right now, we've got limited revenue limits. Our revenue, as it stands, is not able to fund every priority, every ambition that we have. So the Minister of Finance scrounges around to find money. So, in the end, as South Africans, we therefore need to sit back and say, how are we going to stop? And I think the Minister of Finance sought to address this yesterday. How are we going to get over the budget cuts? How are we going to continue funding all our priorities? The public servant salaries, the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, and the SRD, the grants that we've been paying to unemployed people. So the debate and the discussion needs to ensue.
Sherlock Holmes is only realizing it now. They have had an entire year to work on the budget. They have had 30 years to learn about what works and what doesn't work in terms of budgeting. Yet it's only now, at the last minute, that he realizes that actually we can't fund our ambitions. How many times did the people tell the ANC to do their jobs, to work on creating a business-friendly environment that promoted jobs over grants? But just last year, Lazy Cyril and his comrades were celebrating that more than 27 million people were on social grants.
In 1999, only 2.5 million people had access to social relief. In other words, they got some social assistance from the government. Today, more than 18 million South Africans in our country receive social relief from the government. The SRD grant introduced during COVID, the 350, has increased the number by another 8 to 10 million, meaning that easily 28 million South Africans get assistance from the ANC-led government to deal with poverty.
Instead of being concerned about where the money for the grants would come from, the communist ANC were proud that more than 27 million people were receiving grants, even using it as one of their campaigning tools. The EFF was telling people to make babies because Julius promised that he would give them even higher grants to take care of those children.
Comrades, bantwana. Ngizawukhokhela mna because siyayidabula a child grant from 510 to 1,020 rand because our children deserve better. Don't be lazy. Please, don't be lazy. Enzana bantwana SG lingalali. When we leave here, sicela ukuthi nibe busy. Please.
None of them took the time to say, this is just unsustainable. None of them took the time to say thank you to the tax-paying citizens who are behind the economy. The ones who are working, either as business owners or employees. Those waking up, going to do something to create value. No one says thank you to those ones. Even in this speech, Cyril shows that he prioritizes grants more than he does the creation of jobs. He shows that he still has not realized that the ANC has created many policies that inhibit job creation, policies that discourage the successful running of businesses and consequently limit the amount of taxes that citizens can pay to the government for their priorities and ambitions. I'm talking here about labor laws which protect bad employees. I'm talking here about BEE quotas that sometimes force business owners to hire less than the best. Lazy Cyril and his group should be running around to remove policies that block job creation so that more businesses can employ more people to increase the amount of tax being paid to the government. The only reason why there is not enough money, dear Cyril, is because of foolish policies as well as the wastage of the tax money that you are already receiving.
Tender for the upgrade of the Rooiwal water waste treatment plant was awarded to companies belonging to NEDSZAJJ. There's now outcries over allegations of irregularities in the Rooiwal water waste treatment plant following the outbreak of cholera in Hammanskraal and the subsequent death of 17 people thus far. Kaiser Khanyago, SIU spokesperson, joins us now to discuss the 295 million rand Rooiwal tender. Controversial businessman Edwin Sodi has now been drawn into this Hammanskraal debacle for irregularities around the tender awarded to him to refurbish and upgrade the plant. Is the SIU investigating this Rooiwal tender saga?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your viewers. At the moment, the answer is no.
The money is wasted on corruption. You say there isn't enough money for certain priorities and ambitions, but some of those priorities already received millions, if not billions, in our taxes, but the tender recipients did not do the job well or at all, and there were no consequences. Today, you want more of our taxes for the same priorities and the same ambitions.
It's been 3 years since the construction of Maibuye Primary School was completed, but the 82 million rand worth of school is standing here empty. Sewage is a common sight across all the grounds and the classes, making it impossible to resume classes. And this has dented the hope for a bigger and better school for thousands of learners in this area. One South Africa movement says this is an example of yet another recklessness and misuse of taxpayers' money.
The money is wasted on paying people who make babies with no self-control. The money is being wasted on encouraging reckless baby making. The money is being wasted through government wasteful expenditure. You have people like Banyaza putting up their faces on billboards while failing to pick up calls from citizens. When discussing how to increase the revenue, their top options are increasing taxes, borrowing even more money, and cutting budgets. I wonder, have they ever heard of creating job opportunities? Do they know that creating an environment where people go to work and pay taxes is way better than an environment of baby-making machines for the sake of getting grants?
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says decisions need to be taken on how government priorities will be funded.
You can't have the 2% alone without talking about what's going to replace it, and that does not become contentious. What I'm trying to say, what we are grappling with, is not necessarily the 2% per se. What we are grappling with, given the challenges and priorities that we are facing, how do we fund them? Really, that's a debate. Do we borrow more? What are the implications of that? Do we continue cutting expenditure? What are the implications of that? Do we raise tax? What are the implications of that? There's general agreement that in the current environment, we need to find a way of funding our priorities.
The ANC can only think of borrowing or raising taxes. Imagine if all of those ministers within the government knew that creation of businesses and jobs are the biggest priority. Creating jobs is one thing that will help bring more revenue. I don't get how that is not the first thing on their mind. Increase the number of people paying taxes and ensure that all the money is not lost to fraud, corruption, and wasteful expenditure. How difficult can it be? I mean, that is not even part of their dialogue. There is no desire to grow the number of people we tax. The only thing they can think of is how much more can we get out of you who we are already taxing. How backward can people really be? Can we vote these people out and get leaders who know more than these ones? Instead of making sure you befriend everyone on earth in order to bring more investments here, the ANC has put South Africa on an enemy gathering spree.
President Trump, as a leader of an important country like the United States, it is important for you not to disrespect or show any disrespect to any country in the world. We want the United States to engage with the world, with other countries, with due regard, with respect, particularly Africa. Africa is the origins of humanity, and you must therefore respect your origins. President Trump's origins and his roots are in Africa.
Make enemies with Israel. Make enemies with the USA. Make enemies with Rwanda. Meanwhile, the countries that South Africa is depending on try to not make enemies with anyone. I mean, look at China. It doesn't want to say too much.
45年的中美关系历经风风雨雨，给我们不少重要启示。两国应该做伙伴，而不是当对手；应该彼此成就，而不是相互伤害；应该求同存异，而不是恶性竞争；应该言必信，行必果，而不是说一套做一套。我提出相互尊重、和平共处、合作共赢、 3条大原则，既是过去经验的总结，也是走向未来的指引。我们积极应对国内外环境变化带来的影响，我国经济回暖向好，国内生产总值预计超过130万亿元。当前经济运行面临一些新情况，有外部环境不确定性的挑战，有新旧动能转换的压力，但这些经过努力是可以克服的。两岸同胞一家亲，谁也无法隔断我们的血脉亲情，谁也不能阻挡祖国统一的历史大势。
Even Russia doesn't. That shows you that the current leaders of South Africa have no idea what they're doing. So please, let's vote them out. Anyway, please let me know what you think. Is the increase of revenue really as difficult as the ANC is making it seem? Should job creation not be the #1 priority? What other options are available to South Africa? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. While you're at it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.